is Joy Ray, and I'm a textile and installation artist based in Los Angeles. In my practice, I'm really interested in what I think of as subtext, which is something that you can't hear, you can't see it, it's invisible, but you can feel it, it's palpable. And so that idea of the palpable unknown is what really always interests me. And part of why I'm so interested in these things that you can't see or know has to do with my own life stories. As a baby, I was adopted in what's called a closed adoption, meaning I wasn't given any information about my background, who my parents were, why they gave me up, what ethnic background I was from. I just didn't have any of that information. And so I had to kind of imagine what my origin story might have been. Over the last 10 years, I've been researching adoption, my personal story, as well as kind of the bigger historical picture of adoption. And what I found is there's a writer named Betty Jean Lifton, and in the 70s, she came up with this idea of the ghost kingdom, which immediately resonated with me. And what this is, the ghost kingdom describes this sort of inner world that adoptees imagine, which is like all the versions of your birth mom or your birth dad that might exist, and you kind of have multiple mothers, multiple fathers, and you don't know which one is real. And so this exhibition really brings this idea of the ghost kingdom to life. This document is actually my invoice. This shows how much my parents paid for me when they adopted me. And yes, of course, these are administrative fees, of course, but it also is truly an invoice for me. So all these documents are a little strange and spooky. And what I really love about them is they show different points in time. So as you can see, this is from a document that was created on a computer. This is contemporary word processing, of our contemporary moment, versus some of these other documents were clearly typed out and written by hand. So it's just a different era. And I love this kind of feeling of the archive. This is why I thought it was so interesting and important to use images of my actual documents so that you really can get that feeling of the passage of time. The origin point of this installation is really this creepy crib that I found. I made this sad mattress to go inside. And so this really, I think, speaks to this idea of the missing body, the missing baby. Where is that baby and what kind of care are they getting? Underneath this crib is this lockbox that's surrounded by rusty chains. And that to me really speaks to this idea that I've kind of had to experience my whole life about information that is right there. Somebody has it, in my case, the state of California, but I can't access it. I have all of my adoption documents that I have, and I enlarged them onto fabric. So these are the real documents, just like images of the real documents. This is the beginning of my journey here. About 10 years ago, I wrote a letter to the state of California and requested the information that they had about me. And they gave me what's called non-identifying information. So it's everything they can tell me, but with details stripped out that would allow me to find my original families. These kind of strange documents, you get a very weird feeling reading them, and I wanted them to be very legible so that other people could read them through this exhibition and kind of experience what that weirdness is like. And as we go from one side to the other, the documents go from light to dark, they go from more legible to less legible, and they go from 2015, when I started this quest, all the way back in time to documents that I found in my parents' home after they'd passed, that are old documents from when I was born and before I was born. This back wall is covered with big canvases that I made out of thrift store jeans. So basically I go to a thrift store, I get all these jeans, I break them down into pieces, and then I stitch them together into a flat canvas. And in this case, they're painted black. And what I love about jeans when I'm thinking about adoption is, number one, there's a play on words, which is, DNA jeans and blue jeans. But jeans are really the universal garment. At any point in time, over half the population of the world is wearing jeans. And rich people wear them, poor people, babies, grandmas, like every age, every gender, every strata of society wears jeans. And also they really mold to our bodies. So jeans really show how we live our lives in a way. So I really like this idea of these thrift store jeans as kind of bringing in this idea of anonymous bodies with mysterious lives. You know that these jeans have been on a journey, but you're not sure what and with who. And so with adoption, I like bringing that energy into the exhibition. In this space, I walled off this little room to show a couple videos that I've made. And in these videos, I'm really thinking about the weirdness of adoption. So when I was a kid, I was told that adoption was super normal, not a big deal. If you were adopted, you were special, maybe even. And I think as I've gotten older, I've started to realize adoption is actually quite strange. And I view it as a place of the haunted and the uncanny and the speculative and the spectral. And so these films really explore the weirdness of it. And my hope is that for people that come and see this exhibition, it's in this window, in this public place, that perhaps they think adoption is no big deal. But as they start to spend more time with this exhibition, that they can experience a little bit of the strangeness that I think is inherent to adoption.